Goodness. Hey,
Good
what?
morning.
It's Monday
What's
morning,
up?
and this is Monday Morning Jumpstart. Good morning, everybody. I'm
Good
telling you,
morning.
I'm on the struggle bus. We're going to get it started this morning because guess what? I don't know if you've heard. It's Monday. Get up. It's time to go. What's going on, Coach Lawrence and Coach Kim?
What's up? What's up? Good morning, Karen,
Yeah,
Kim.
definitely have my
Ooh,
go juice this morning.
Okay, we
definitely
need
go
the
deep.
go juice this morning. I don't know who you are or where you are or what's going on, but y'all come on in here. We got a lot to talk about. We got started a few minutes late because your girl is just off. Okay, I'm just it's a journey and it's a little bit of a struggle this morning. I want y'all to come on in here because we've got a lot to talk about. Welcome to Monday Morning Jumpstart. If you are new here, I want to welcome you. Coach Kim and Coach Lawrence and I want to just pull you into the fold for a little bit this morning to jumpstart your week. This right here is the place for purpose-driven professionals and entrepreneurs who are obsessed with three things, okay? You know what it is. Say it with me. Get focused, connect to your purpose, and boom, develop perspective. That's what we're going to do here this morning, and I'm so excited because this is vision season. And Coach Lawrence and Coach Kim are equally obsessed with all things vision when we get the year started because we got a few secrets about why you should be starting with vision this morning. So I just want to say good morning, everybody. Come on in here. I'm going to explain and I'm going to talk a little bit about my extra this morning, okay? I'm just for all the extra people. If you're a little bit south extra, I want to talk to you this morning because as I was getting ready, y'all know I get my praise on in the morning. As I was getting ready, I just felt like God gave me a word for somebody's heart this morning. I don't care who you are, if you're a CEO, if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you're a receptionist, if you are leading a team, I don't care what you got going on or who you are. I don't care if you're black or white or Democrat or Republican, gay, straight. I don't care about any of that. I need you to come on in here because right now I'm going to whisper a little something in your ears if you're the extra, okay? Anybody here extra? Coach Kim and Coach Lawrence, I know y'all are a little extra. You're my friends, okay?
I
You guys
know
are
I'm there.
extra
I'm
to
a
be
little
my
extra. Yeah.
I got some sisters that'll tell
Oh,
you
and I
that.
do. I have an extra. Sorry
Oh,
about
I
this,
see. I see.
but
You have the diva has arrived.
that's right. I guess she's trying to let us know I'm extra. If there's a
That's right.
definition of extra, it's me.
That's right. Coach Lawrence, are you extra?
Oh my gosh, I'm the oldest boy, but I'm next to the youngest. So,
Wow.
yeah, I was born into it.
You were born into it. Okay. So listen, I just want to give a shout out this morning. We're gonna greet all the tribe in the feed this morning that's joining us live, but I want to give an extra little shout out to my extra queen, Shireen Douglas, who blessed me with this gorgeous necklace. I need y'all to lean
It's
in
beautiful.
on this goodness right here, okay? Come on in here, okay? Because Shireen Douglas blessed me with this necklace, and this is a piece from the Sassy Jones collection. If y'all don't know who Sassy Jones is, she's an amazing entrepreneur. She just launched a collection. This is from one of her older collections, but she is the absolute extra America needs right now. I'm just saying, she's on HSN right now. And I just want to say thank you, Shireen, for blessing me with this. And I'm going to be honest with you, when Shireen, she dropped it off on my front porch and it was in this beautiful bag, the same color as my shirt. And I was like, what is this? And I opened it and I sat down, and y'all can just imagine what I did. I did this right here. Mm. I did that. That is my extra because this screams me, right? Butterflies are my symbol. And I use the butterfly as a symbol because butterflies shouldn't be able to fly. I'm going to be honest with you. And they are every bit of extra. Every single one of them that you see is unique in its own way. And when that butterfly walks in the room, the other butterflies are like, wait a minute, I was wearing that. Look, those are my colors. And that butterfly is like, well, today it's about this right here, right? That's my extra. So thank you, Shireen, for this goodness. I just wanted to wear this to represent the extra. If you are that extra, and I'm going to be honest with you, to hang in this crowd, you got to be a little bit extra. Am I right, Coach Lawrence? Like
Yes.
you got to have the extra. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. To rock your vision, whatever that is, that extra is your secret sauce. I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to rocking your vision, remember all things vision in first quarter, January, February, and March. This is really where we set the foundation. Your extra is going to be that thing that gets you over the hump. Melissa Hernandez says, what's the extra? We're going to talk about it in just a moment. But let's say what's on to the tribe in the feed. Coach Lawrence, who we have this morning?
Oh my gosh. We have the consistent and diligent Sarah is in the room. And
Sarah.
making magic happen. We definitely have Coach Kyla in the room.
Boom, boom.
And we got my brother from another, Philip Williams, is in the room. Let's see. We have Melissa Hernandez.
Melissa.
And let's see who else. We got anybody else yet?
I think that's it for right now.
That's it right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think we need a few more people in here because I think every one of you who are in the feed knows somebody who's a little bit extra. I think you know somebody in your feed, in your network, in your tribe, whatever it is, that needs a reminder, right? This is the season where we set our vision. So today we're going to be talking about vision, but I'm going to set you up, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have a little bit of a trick question for you. Okay. So share this with 10 of your friends, start a watch party, forward it, text, DM, say, you know what? Monday Morning Jumpstart is on. I'm going to need you to lean in a little bit. You can find us on Facebook at Rock Your Vision Community, or you can find us on YouTube. Just search for Rock Your Vision. And when you get to YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor. Go ahead and click the thumbs up button. We want to be in your feed. Yes, we do. I'm going to be honest with you. We want to be in your feed because this is the place where you're going to get that little infusion, the perspective that you need to shift, right? To be able to pivot, to be able to walk it out in 2021. All right. So let's answer this question. If you could do anything and you weren't afraid, if you could do anything and you weren't afraid, what would you do? Just roll with me this morning, y'all. I'm gonna need you to come into the feed, drop a comment, and answer this question. If you could do anything and you weren't afraid, something that's been in your heart, now I'm not talking about, oh, I would fly or, sprout wings. If you could really tap into that thing that was in your heart, what would you do? Coach Kim, if you could do anything and you weren't afraid, you had all the support you wanted, all the money that you needed, what would you do?
That's a great question. I feel like I act on what I want to do. But I guess for me, if money were not an issue or whatever, I would definitely travel. But as far as what I would do I would just go around trying to encourage everyone. I really would. I mean, if I would just go around trying to help people see what they've got going on that they need to share with the world. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's what I would want to do. I just want to go around and share with people, encourage people. And really that's, I'm trying to, I actually have made a life around that goal. I feel like I was born to be an encourager. I feel like, so I honestly, I try to, whatever I'm afraid of, I try to do it at least on a small scale, but that's probably where I need to focus. Why do I feel like it's small scales? There goes back to feeling, or engineering small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's me.
I love that. Okay, so you would encourage people. You would, if you didn't have to work and you didn't have to tend to the farm and all of those things, you would go encourage people. I love that. Okay, Coach Lawrence, if you could do anything and you weren't afraid, what would you do?
Man, this is gonna sound uber cheesy and somewhat similar to Kim. I'm doing it.
Wow.
But I would do it at a grander scale, which I'm doing. And I believe what I would do is actually make some type of energy machine that allow me to do it more.
Wow. Okay.
And so you said money's not an object, so I would
Right.
make a machine that would infuse energy into me, so I could just do it and feel like I got 8 hours of sleep.
Wow.
Continue to do it. But yeah, and it happened on Saturday where the statement came out for my year, and I don't know if it's time to release when we talk about the vision or the vest, but I'm ready for that.
Come on.
We get to that. And my vision is to be limitless while remaining hot. And y'all know military folk, we like acronyms.
Right. Come on.
Hot being humble, open, and transparent. And just living that as a lifestyle and not just a t-shirt slogan.
Wow. Wow. I love that. So, so doing more of what it is you're already doing. And I love that in a purpose-driven community, you know, it is so easy to find people who are already on fire, right? Okay, I need y'all to put it in the comments for those in the tribe that are following along. If you could do anything, what would you do? Hold on a second. Coach Philip Williams says, I would be a full-time people cultivator and I need to be rich to do it with lots of money. So we would make lots of money, right? And honestly, you know what? Most of us, when we start out, y'all know, when we get out of college, what do? We say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I remember being a freshman at Spelman College when I first started my college career 75 years ago. And we would
75 years ago.
And I said 75 for the record because that's reality. But I remember being a freshman on college campus and sitting around talking with my friends about what we were going to do. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to go work for this firm. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go do this, right? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Okay, so Coach Akila Charlemagne, I'm okay. I need this right here. She said, I would open an extra networking and incubation space for professionals and entrepreneurs to thrive and collaborate. Oh my goodness. I'm going to need that is everything. And you need to write that down. Coach Akila, wink, wink. Okay. So she would open a networking space. Y'all are mighty quiet this morning. What's going on? I need to hear from some of y'all about what you would do if you weren't afraid. And typically when I ask this question, for those of us who are coaches in this community, this is a question we ask a lot, right? What would you do if you weren't afraid? And a lot of times what I hear is, I would start a business, right? We've been talking about this for a couple of days, y'all, here in the community. They would say, I would go get married in Fiji, right? They'd go to some exotic place, right? I'm writing this down for a reason. Someplace exotic. You can make all of the lists you want of the things that we would do. And that's amazing. And in this community, we're always talking about goals, reaching for something, stretching bigger. Coach Lawrence talks about this all the time. Coach Kim talks about the things you need to have as a leader to be able to do big, hairy, audacious things, right? That is the core. It's the foundation of how we get started executing our vision. But here's the thing. Here's what people miss in their vision. They lay out all of the things that they want to get done. but they miss something important. In fact, they miss about 3/4 of the equation. And I'm going to prove it to you. The other day, I was having a conversation with a leader, a coaching conversation. And she said, I'm having trouble. She's a small business owner and she's incredible. We worked together before. She's really amazing at her craft. I mean, top of her game. And she's in that place as a business owner where she's spending a lot of time on the struggle bus, doing all the doings. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Looking for the next client. Maybe as a professional, you're looking for the next project, or you're looking for the next step in your career, whatever that is. She was in that place where she felt like, I just don't understand how to tap into finding that client so I attract that client I want to work with. And I get it, right? So we talked about that a little bit more. And then I asked her a question. I said, okay, so I know what you want to do. Now tell me why you do what you do. And it got quiet, y'all. It got quiet. She was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, I hear what you're trying to attract. I hear what you want to accomplish. I understand what you do, the doing of the thing, right? I do these things. I am good at these things. I went to school for these things. But tell me, why are you doing what you do? What's your driver? What ignites you? What excites you about what it is that you're doing? Crickets. And then emotion. Come on, y'all. Coach Lawrence, does this story resonate with you at all?
Like you wouldn't believe. I was this leader.
Oh, wow.
About 4 years ago. And it took having another conversation with someone who was sowing into my life and allowing me the space to just get it all out, right? Because and a lot of times we judge ourselves extremely hard for doing all this stuff, right? We talked about the doing, but then not having these whatever resembles success in that area. But there's no drive there. There's no motivation. And it was in talking to this leader asking me the same question after transitioning out of the Army. And that was where I had to be honest with myself that I had never put myself in the game as it pertains to searching for purpose. And once I identified that I wasn't even in the game, I was like, the emotion, the emotion happened. But then it was like, okay, then the soldier in me rose up and was like, all right, dude, now that you identified it, put some dirt on it.
Right. Come on.
Because we got to ruck up and we got to get to work. Right. And I would start identifying. I didn't have the who's or the what's, but I had, it was a emotion about what was I missing and what work was I called to. And there was something that kept coming up for me at every phase of life. And it was me being positioned to be a bridge, connecting dots for people. And I'm like, but what does it look like for me? And I got quiet, Karen. I got quiet, Kim. I had to be still. I had to stop doing. And I had to start listening. And when I listened, it was, you shoulder it. You're a foundation. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. Right. I'm like, what does this look like?
Right. But that's why you're a doctor. Okay.
That's where I was going. It's all, my thing is all about helping people build strong foundations by first identifying where their capacity is to actually shoulder and bear the weight of things.
Okay, let's go back for a minute though.
Yeah.
Because it was the doing of things that, they say that, emotion, goals, they're good for you until they're not.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you had a goal, you were doing things,
Yeah.
but you had not asked the question, why am I doing the things? And here's the thing. Years ago, I kept noticing these themes with the leaders that I worked with, right? CEOs, board directors, executive leadership team members. Kim knows some of these stories and has some of the same experiences working with these amazing leaders, right? We want as young professionals, we aspire to these positions, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we get there and you go through the motions, you get the degree, you get the experience, you take your knocks, you do all of those things. You start a ministry, you whatever. But then somewhere along the way, as you're setting your vision for the year, and as we set our vision for the year, and for those of you that participated in our first vision board workshop this past Saturday, right? We listed all of the things, here all the things, but we miss the why we want to do what
and
it is
feel
we
empty.
want to do. And feel empty. So Kim, I need you to unpack that a little bit. Why is it, or what is it that you see when you see us go after the goals, go after the vision and the dream and all of those things, but somehow we end up missing it? What are we missing?
Well, I think I can speak from my own experience in that, I feel like in my career prior to starting my own business, I was doing what I was called to do, what I was created to do. But I was doing it in pieces. So I was doing pieces and parts of what I knew I was called to do. But I was a part of an organization where I was really following someone else's dream.
Wow.
Right. So I'm doing what I'm called to do, what I'm very good at, and I felt like I should be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But until I, like Lawrence was saying a minute ago, I'm thinking, I feel so empty. Why do I feel empty? Because I'm doing what I went to school for. I'm doing what I've always felt, I was called to do, what I'm supposed to do, but I just feel empty. And then it wasn't until I took the time to focus on my being,
Mm-hmm.
and not just the doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got still, and what is it that I'm supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I felt the call to start my own business and to go out and not just help that one organization,
Mm-hmm.
but to help many organizations, and
Mm-hmm.
not just help that small group of leaders, but to help leaders all over the country. And so
Wow.
I was thinking too small. I was putting everything that I was called to do in a nice little neat box, but I felt empty in that box. And when I, took the leap to say, okay, I'm going to step out off the edge of this cliff, and I'm either going to be given wings to fly, or there's something to stand on. I'm going to have that faith that this is what I am to do.
Wow.
And I had to work on, and I still do, because I don't think that with leaders that we work on ourselves and we are suddenly accomplished. I believe that we have to work on ourselves daily. There's something daily that I am learning about myself, learning about being a leader. My dream or what I feel like I've been called to do is to help leaders raise their level of consciousness and just continue to grow and grow and grow. Because as we move on in this world, we're going to be faced with challenges that have never existed before.
Come on,
so we have to get ahead of it and be ready for it. Right. So that's going to cause us to have to just continuously be raising our level of consciousness, raising our stance as a leader. And so when I say that I would go out and encourage people, I would go out and say, you have it within you to be a stronger leader today than you were yesterday. And if we're focused on it, we'll be even, we'll be ready for things that are coming that haven't even come into existence yet. And so
Wow.
I got off on a little
we got
soapbox
it.
there, didn't
We
I?
got it. We got it. I love it. I love it. And all that says to me is that it's something that you're passionate about. But I think we're really tapping into something here. And the reason that we're talking about this topic of, you know, if you could do anything, what would you do if you weren't afraid, or you didn't feel like you didn't have the money or whatever, all of those limiting beliefs, what would you actually do? I wanted to bring that forward because our temptation is to focus on the doing and the accomplishing of things. But one of the things that I find over and over and over again that puts a cap on our vision, right? It puts a cap on our vision. We get halfway through the year and something happens. This happens over and over and over and over again in every cycle. So if you're out there and you're feeling like, you know what, I didn't live up to my potential, or, you know, I'm not on a magazine cover, whatever your definition of making it is, I want you to know you're in really good company. But there's a reason I think so often we end up with that feeling that we didn't accomplish enough. I'm going to be honest with you. Oftentimes I will get to the end of the year, I'll get to December and look back and I'll say, dang it, I didn't do what it is I wanted to do. I didn't play big enough, or, you know, I didn't get that thing out the door. I have all kinds of goals, right? Anybody that I didn't actually get out the door. And then somebody else will talk to me and they'll be like, are you kidding me, Karen? I mean, like, I look at you and I see the things I want to be doing. Here's the thing. Somebody will always be watching you, Coach Lawrence. Somebody will always be watching you and you feel like you haven't made it. But the reality is you've been graced to get to where you are. And the opportunity is not to get stuck. Wait for it. I'm going to get my little thing here and that's why I've got this up here, because I really want us to get this. Years ago, I developed this model called the DTSF model. And here's what we focus on. We focus on the doing. I don't know if y'all can see that, but we focus on the doing, right? But there's something powerful about recognizing that there are 3 other dimensions to crafting, creating, and living a vision that you love. Are y'all hearing me? There are 3 other dimensions. There is the thinking, the saying, and the feeling. I don't know if y'all can see that. DTSF. Y'all say it with me. DTSF. I want us to get that in our souls. Because here's the thing. When I was on that struggle bus with Kim and going through all of the things, right? Going through all of the things, trying to accomplish this, trying to get the next position, trying to get the next friend, trying to buy the next house, trying to do all the things, right, that I had in my vision. My old vision boards had houses and cars and handbags and all of those things. And none of those things are bad. I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. What I'm saying is that, especially for those of us that are mid-career to late stage career, focusing on the getting of things or the doing of things will only get you halfway. And there's a really good chance that you're going to end up frustrated. So there's this inner man thing that needs to happen, where we're looking at not just what we're doing, but also what we want to be thinking, what we want to be saying, and what we want to be feeling. In essence, that's our why, right? That is our why. Coach Lawrence, talk to us for a moment when you think about laying out your vision. And I know you are excruciatingly vision focused. If y'all don't know Lawrence Henderson, I need y'all to go look him up, because this brother right here is doing some things. He is a world-class executive coach. If you are watching this and you are looking for someone to support your leaders or your executive team or your trainings, your facilitations, you need a speaker, this guy right here will light you up in a way that you'll ask the question, why didn't I call him sooner? So I'm going to need you to break this down for just a minute, Coach Lawrence. Yeah. I know you're doing some work as well on LinkedIn with a live stream, much like this, on Monday mornings. I think it's at noon.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you talk about that for a minute, but talk to us about this idea that we set a vision, all with the best intentions. We're vision folks.
Yep.
But when we miss thinking about what it is we want to be thinking, saying, and feeling, our why, why is that like an imperative?
Yeah. It speaks to alignment. And really what I mean by that is if your thoughts and what you're saying and you're checking in on your emotions, which again are a big thing because that can derail you. You need to constantly check yourself. And here's the thing, stop trying to do it by yourself. One of the biggest things that I have done as a student of self-awareness, self-management, and how people experience me is I had to get around my community. And we always talk about this with Rock Your Vision. Like, if you're not around a community of people that can support you in your ebbs and your flows, whether you're early career, mid-career, or late career, you still need a community of people so you can talk these things out with. But again, it goes back to just because I can doesn't mean I should. And when you start talking about operating in your why and operating in your purpose, are you working on your work? Because everybody, you said it, if money wasn't an object or you could care less if you got paid for it, what's the thing you would do? Like, and a lot of us haven't revisited that, or there hasn't been an understanding or a gaining of knowledge of what would it look like in action. That's the other part, is we think it, we say it, we feel it, and we leave it at the vision and we write the thing down. Then we don't begin to start dropping those breadcrumbs for ourselves to develop these small wins. And it all starts with understanding, where am I at? What capacity do I have? And then what can I do where I'm at and be excellent where I'm at? And a lot of times people are like, well, if I woke up tomorrow, I would just drop everything and I'll go do pause, time out. Are you ready for that? Let's be clear, right? You may not be in your ideal field. You may not be there yet. I was there as a transitioning veteran. Every single day I was doing a job that I wanted to physically harm myself because it was not mind-numbingly boring. I wasn't in purpose. And so I said I had to stop. I had to think about what it was that I felt called to. Then I had to say it. Then I was like, why am I so emotional about this? Because it was missing. And so I was like, am I called to that? And I questioned it, but then it answered back and said, yes, that's your work. And so I had to begin educating myself. And that's why I dove in to 4 coaching certifications later. School, mass, and again, I keep telling people these are everybody's degrees, these are everybody's certifications. LinkedIn, that's everybody's life, because it's all about being humble, open, and transparent. That's also the work I'm called to. Because as a man, I know other men having this type of vulnerable exchange is something that is not practiced. It's just not. And so for me to cry a single solitary thug tear from time to time in front of other men, how freeing that is. That's a foundation to begin building upon, is breaking down walls and barriers to get to what we should be doing for the community.
I want to tap into something you said about, recognizing that you had to explore that place. For those and I need y'all to catch this. We're not talking about it just because it's a fun thing to do, right? Visioning and vision boards and all those things, that's not a craft project, okay? That's a life project, okay? If you're that person that is, tired of going through the motions during the year, and you want to get beyond just kind of that, Happy New Year, and then 3 months later, you feel like you're on the struggle bus, right? Listen, we all have things to struggle through. We all have experiences and jobs and situations where we have to really let go of, kind of the pie in the sky, I call it, right? And let me be really clear with you, in case you missed it, in case you just missed it, I'm gonna need you to get this. Rocking your vision and working the DTSF model is not just about starting a business. Okay. I had a 30+ year corporate career, and I cannot say I will never return to that. I need y'all to hear me. Some of you are called to be in corporate. I'm just going to walk away with that. Some of y'all are called to be in corporate, and you're feeling like you're watching everybody else. You tap into Monday Morning Jumpstart and you see all these people that are starting to, some of you belong in that role, in that job.
That's right.
It is not about necessarily the next promotion. What I'm asking you to do is to embrace where you are. I work with some of the most amazing leaders in the little bitty part of Tennessee. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're some of the most purpose-driven leaders I have ever seen in my life. And they take what they're doing in their everyday jobs and they flourish. But they don't just flourish and keep it to themselves. They understand that they are not just doing the job, right? They understand, they have to understand what it is that they're thinking and saying and feeling about the work that they're called to. So what about you? What about you, that person that's in corporate and you're feeling frustrated because you're looking at your boss and he or she doesn't have the sense God gave a peanut, and you're frustrated because you're thinking, I could do that job. Here's my question for you. Why? Why? And how could you be setting yourself up to prepare for whatever's next for you? Sometimes we're so focused on grabbing from something else or grabbing from somebody else, but we haven't minded our own shop.
Right.
Coach Kim, I'm going to need you to lean in on this just a minute, because I know this is an area of expertise for you.
Well, I think, we've got to make sure that we are being effective where we are, right? If we're constantly reaching for what is next, we got to make sure that we are bringing it where we are. And I think sometimes we aren't even aware of the ways we're not bringing it, right? So I know I used to work in manufacturing in human resources, and I would have these guys come up to me and say, but I want to be in that job over there. But they weren't really performing so great where they were, right? Wow. So my thing was, you know what, if you will knock it out of the ballpark where you are, if you will gain the skills and the knowledge and, to be effective where you are. And I think that's the same thing with us as leaders. Am I really being effective as I can possibly be where I am? And like I said, we're constantly evolving as leaders, and the challenges that we face every day are evolving also. So what are we doing to make sure that we have everything that we need in order to be in that next role that we want? But yes, I mean, if not everyone is called to start their own business, but what you are being called to be effective where you are. So,
you are called to be effective where you are. I've told the story so many times, but I want to remind somebody maybe who is going through a season where you feel like where you are is not what God called you to. Or maybe you're in a season where you are experiencing difficulty. I want to encourage your heart this morning. 7 years ago, when I started Rock Your Vision, actually, I guess now it's probably 8 years ago. It was before Rock Your Vision kind of came to be. I was getting the news that my mother, my best friend in the world, was coming to the end of her life. She had ovarian cancer. Many of you knew Mom, and you knew her story and her journey. But I was peaking in my career at that point. All right. I was on my way to India, Yes, I was on my way to India to go see my team there. I was running HR in 4 countries. I had the career, everybody in my profession wanted. They're like, oh my gosh, Karen, you've got the dream job. I could go and come as I please. I could do whatever. I was incredibly empowered. I had an amazing leadership team, an amazing boss, like dream job. But right as I was getting to the peak of my career, my mom became catastrophically ill. And the word was, you need to rethink your priorities, Karen. These were her doctors. Your mom is coming to the end of her life. We were searching for, a place to make sure she had the right care and all that sort of thing. But as it turns out, there was no place that could take her and no place we could afford. I need y'all to hear me for a minute. No place we could afford. The only place we could afford to keep mom was bringing her home. And that meant your girl had to become her full-time caregiver. Now, don't get it twisted. That was the best job I've ever had in my life. If I had to do it all over again, I would do the same thing, but sooner. It was my privilege to be my mother's caregiver. But here's the thing. I was so busy focused on the next thing, what was next for me in my career. So I had this great vision, but my vision wasn't aligned with what God had for me. And what God had for me in the moment was, I thought the struggle bus, and why are you taking me through this? And why did this happen? And why? My energy was all wrapped up and all around something that had passed. Y'all gonna get this in a minute. That season for me to be in that career, in that job, had passed. But I did not pull my vision forward. I did not shift my vision to be able to allow for what was right in front of me. Come on. What was right in front of what's right in front of you? What's right in front of you that is your next step to be able to grab hold and to shift your perspective and your attitude? Coach Lawrence, am I missing it here? Is anybody getting this?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Is anybody there?
Oh my gosh. No, you're all over it, Karen. I hope they picking up what you putting down. Because it's you said it. And if last year didn't teach anybody anything, it's to stay present and be prepared to shift. And in that, I really believe what keeps a lot of people from really acting is letting that fear or that doubt really take over how they operate. And again, we've all been there. We had this session about imposter syndrome, right? And that's a real thing, particularly when life hits you and seemingly you weren't prepared for that left hook. But understand, we all have a fighter inside of us. And when you say, and I love it when you say lean in, because to me, I'm leaning in with my hands up. And so I know, because I'm swinging back. Because when life has hit me, I'm going to fight for what I believe, for what I stand upon. And that all comes from getting educated about self. And I keep going back to that because I am on a life journey to be a model of what this self-work looks like. And it's not a perfect work. It's a progressive work.
Yes.
And it only can happen when you take the time for yourself. And that thing you did, and that doctor making that statement to you, it called it forward. Like, hey, they saw it. They were like, Karen, you got to make some adjustments. And whether they knew it or not, it was something in them that wanted to inform your future you that you about to go in. And so those are the things that I really believe when people don't prepare for these shifts. In the Army, we say, a plan for the worst, but hope for the best. It's because we don't plan. And again, that vision, you see it like, hey, that's what it should look like with rainbows, unicorns, and pixie dust. But what if it rains? What if it rains and then you prepare for that thing? And then that way you can make the proper adjustments because you already laid a foundation.
Come on. Ooh, that's good. I just felt that in my soul. Okay, so let's talk about, in the last few minutes we have with everybody, let's break down some of the things we need to do, or some of the things we need to be aware of to build what I call a whole brain, a whole life vision, right? So we typically focus here on the do, right? We focus here. The doing is necessary, but if that's all you're focused on, did I get that promotion? Did I marry the right guy or the right gal? Whatever. If that's all you're focused on, you will end up feeling exhausted and all of those things. So let's before we dive into kind of the things we need to do to right the ship, let's talk about some of the warning signs. There's Pastor Andy. Where are you at, Pastor Andy? Are you jumping in? I need you to jump in these few minutes. Can you jump in? If you can, I need you to click on that link and come on in here. I need you in this for a minute. Come on. If you can jump in, I get it, you're busy, but if you can, I'm gonna need you to jump in for a minute. Click the link and join. We need to see your face if you can. But anyway, let's talk about some of the warning signs of when you are stuck in the doing. Okay, Coach Kim, when you work with leaders, when you work with leadership teams, how do you know, what are some of the warning signs that you see where folks are stuck just in the doing, meeting the next target, going for the next goal, going for the next position? What are some of the warning signs that you see?
Well, I think just, no emotion, no feeling. And you've worked with people like this.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm talking about. There's just, it's just they're literally just putting one foot in front of the other. There's no passion. There's no feeling. It's just thoughtless, mindless. I'm just doing the next thing that I know I need to do. So to me, that's a huge warning sign when they're just going through the motions, right?
Yeah, going through the motions. Coach Lawrence, what are some of the warning signs that you see when people are stuck in the doing?
Yeah, that check engine light. You're tired. You're tired. And it'll actually begin to show on you.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, people can see it.
Yeah.
People can see it. People can hear it, right?
Yep.
Maybe your relationships are constantly strained.
Exactly.
It's a warning sign.
Yep.
Here's a warning sign. Blame.
Mm-hmm.
Blame. Oh, well, so-and-so, they made me do it. And then he said such and such, and you can hear, right? There's a language with people that are stuck in the doing. I will walk into a team, never have met these people before, don't know anything about the industry, but I can hear teams that are stuck in the doing.
Absolutely.
But have completely missed the inner work, their why, right? They've missed it all together. They don't even know their own story. I'm just saying that when you are stuck in the doing of a thing, you will have all kinds of warning signs, all kinds of red lights. Coach Kim, any other signals that you see or things that we should be looking for that say, danger, danger, you're stuck in the doing?
Oh gosh, Karen, I was actually having a flashback to a team that I worked with last fall, and the entire team was just, I mean, like you said, just blaming each other for things, and not being able to focus on what they weren't even able to focus on what they were doing, even though they were caught in just the doing, they weren't even able to focus on what they were doing because they're just so much blame for everyone else about why they were where they were. So that's huge. And just mindless. I think like what Coach Lawrence was saying, you can see it on people. And I think it does affect relationships all the way around the board. Not only the relationships you have in your team or your workplace or your organization, but it starts to affect the relationships you have at home, your personal relationships when you're not following what you need to be following.
Yeah.
So yeah, just exhaustion.
Yeah.
All the things that we've talked about are the things that I think are so real.
Yeah. I think there are two things that can happen when you're stuck in the doing. This resonates with me so deeply because I personally experienced this. Either a couple of things happen. Either you don't like yourself, right? You don't recognize yourself. You don't like who you see in the mirror. You don't like what you've become, right? So either you don't like yourself, you don't like the version of you that you've become. That's one thing that can happen. I'm gonna need y'all to get this. This is gonna be deep. You ready for it? Strap in. You either don't like yourself or you like yourself too much.
Ooh,
well,
that's so good.
I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. You like yourself too much. That's that. Well, I could have that job. Well, I could do that better. Well, who do they think they are? Don't they know who I am? Now, y'all know I'm all about the extra. Yeah. And sometimes you need a little righteous indignation.
Well, and we create, Karen, that just we create this false self, right? We create this false self to accomplish what we think we want. So what do I have to do to be what I think I want, when we really need to be focusing on my true identity, because that's where we're going to be the most effective, right? That's when we are our true, just like Lawrence was saying, when he's a bridge builder because he's going to be who he is. Wow. And when people see him doing that, when other men see him doing that, then they feel inspired to do it themselves. And that's really, if we break it all down, as a leader, whether we're the leader of our organization, the leader of our team, the leader of our family, whatever it is, when we are being our authentic self, other people see that and we inspire them to do the same thing. So we create this false self that maybe we love this false self we've created. But when we're alone, we know that person really does not exist.
Wow.
Right? I mean, we really do need to do the self-work. Coach Lawrence, you're so right.
I'm going to get personal this morning. I'm sorry. I hope y'all will like us after we're all done. But this is the work that we have to do if we are going to live a vision we love.
That's right.
The question was at the start of this, the title of this episode is, which comes first, the vision or the vessel? And I'm just going to put it out there. For those of you in the feed, we need to pop into the feed because there's too much goodness going on in here. The question is, can you answer it now for yourself? Which comes first, the vision or the vessel? I need y'all to pop into the comments. We have a few more minutes, so don't forget to share this with 10 of your favorite friends because they need this message, y'all. I'm telling you, we as a community are going in and I'm leaving nothing to chance. I'm going to get all in y'all's stuff because I've gotten in my stuff. And this is the way we're going to seriously rock our vision. Okay. Pastor Andy Smith says vision is never about me. Come on, that is too good. Vision is never about me. And y'all, Pastor Andy is going to be coming as our featured guest for one of these Monday Morning Jumpstarts. He's a busy man. He's got some new stuff on the horizon. So I'm just excited he's in here. But listen, Philip Williams says distrust is one of the warning signs. This is too good for words. Like, we need to have a show with Coach Philip Williams just about this. Distrust is a warning sign, right? If you are going through your work and your relationships and you feel a sense of distrust, it's a warning sign. I bought a book the other day working with a client that's called I Love You, But I Don't Trust You. No. When I saw the title to that book, I was like, I need 20 copies because I'm going to send them. What? Some of y'all don't get that book because you need it. Anyway, Pastor Andy Smith says, tasks become self-justifying activities that strip us of our energy and passion. He's gone to meddling now.
But he is spot on. And he also said, and we skipped over it, but it says the warning light is when it becomes about me, then I've lost my vision. And he is so right.
Wait, where did I missed that?
It's just up a little, it's up a little ways,
okay,
but
hold on a minute.
but
Say
right.
it again. Say it again.
That's the warning light. When it becomes about me, I have lost my vision. And that is it in a nutshell. When it comes down to me and what I want and what I'm going to have, and, I'm going to have this car, I'm going to have this husband, I'm going to have this house, then it's no longer a vision. It is all about me and that false self that I've created. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that, Pastor Andy.
Yeah.
We love that, Pastor Andy. Y'all are ending me this morning. I mean, I'm literally sitting here I'm trying to process all of this, because as I think about my vision for 2021, our theme is new season. New season. And I was telling the Vision Board Workshop class on Saturday how we came to that. Okay. Every year in December, I take as much time as my clients will allow me off to really get quiet and allow the Holy Spirit to speak to me about what our theme is for the year, what our vision needs to be, right? It's a form of vision casting, right? It's what is it that's coming? Here's the thing. Your vision doesn't just pop up. It's not a new seed. Your vision is not a new seed. I feel the Spirit moving, Coach Lawrence. I'm just saying. Your vision is not a new seed. There's something coming up that's been there for a while. That new season thing came out of 2020, and we thought 2020 was a wash. For those of you that are missing it, I'm just telling you, and let me be really sensitive here, because I know 2020 took some of us down to the ground. We lost people. People died. Like, it was serious. I am not making light of that. But I just want to remind us, even in my dark, I lost people. I lost things, right? Even in that, my question was, God, can you use that? Will you use that? What good was that for? Yeah, for those of you that maybe are a little frustrated, right? Feeling frustrated, like, was I forsaken? You weren't forsaken. There was a lesson. There is always a lesson, right? There's always beauty for ashes. Beauty will come up out of ashes. And for me, as I thought about coming into 2021, what is it I need to be doing? And it was like it just dropped like it was hot. It has to be a new season, because I cannot take into 2021 what I had in 2020, because we all learned that our 2020 vibe, we didn't have what we needed in 2020 to be able, we had to build new skill in the moment, right? So coming into 2021, that theme, that fire, that vision that I have is not a new seed. All kinds of stuff was poured on that seed in 2020, right? And it wasn't the kind of stuff that we thought we'd have. We thought we'd have water, cool living water, and pixie dust and unicorn stuff, and we thought we'd have all of that sprinkling our vision. But what about when your seed goes through the fire?
Yeah.
Will your seed last? Beautiful, beloved.
What makes, when you say that, Karen, what comes to my mind is, you think of the potter and the clay, right? I mean, here we have this lump of clay.
Yeah.
And the potter starts working with it on his wheel. Well, he starts shaping it, and then he has to use sharp tools to cut off all the stuff that doesn't belong on the vessel. Yeah. But then, it's beautiful at that point, but it doesn't become a vessel that can be used and filled until it's put through the fire, right?
Yeah.
Until it's put through the fire, it will not hold anything of substance. And we have to really look at our lives through that same lens. I mean, I am that lump of clay, and I'm constantly being molded, and when I work on myself, and I really try to work on this vessel, then I got to work to cut away all the pieces of clay that don't belong, that don't add any value. And then I got to be willing to go through the fire. If I'm going to hold anything of substance, if I'm going to lead my organization, if I'm going to lead my team, if I'm going to lead my family or be a leader in my community, then I'm going to have to be put through the fire.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So what comes up for me, so I don't know if anybody knows, I'm a movie guy, and I'm always talking about fighting, but this is a fighter conversation. You got to fight for what you believe your vision is, and the movie 300, and when the one part when they're talking about we're gonna shoot arrows that blot out the sun, and one of the 300 goes, then we'll fight in the shade. And so in this season of life, and you talked about it, Karen, again. 2020 hit us all differently. There was a sea of emotions in a day, not the year, in a day. You could process so many things. And one of the things was like, okay, I'm gonna fight in the shade. And that's the work that I'm fighting for, is the purpose work and my work, and having to call myself out on things and allowing others and giving permission to be called out on things. And here's the favorite coach moment, the big reframe.
Yes.
The big reframe. And it's about perspective. And we talk about mindset. It's like, when you think about it, feel the feels, but how are you going to reframe it? How are you going to shape it so that it turns into fuel and not look like famine? And so those are the things that all that we go through. This is usable content. Every day you get the opportunity to wake up. If you got a pulse, you got a purpose. If you got a pulse, you better practice.
Come on.
And so every day we get to live is practice. It's building reps. But you, like Coach Kim, you said it. You got to show up. You got to you can't take yourself out the game. Yeah. You can't take yourself out the game.
And this is really about not giving up, right?
Yeah.
It's about not giving up. I'm going to be honest with you. There have been so many times when I thought about giving up. There have been so many times and I was like, I'm just going to let it go. 2020, y'all, took me to task. Okay. I got my lashes on and my butterfly today. But if I took all this getup off, you'd see my scars, right? If we sat down and had a long conversation, a real conversation, you'd hear my wounds. Okay. Do not get it twisted. Anybody that has a vision worth talking about has scars. They've been through some things. They've cried some tears. They've felt alone. But I love what Coach Philip Williams says. He says, our vessel will last and we will get a new and even improved and blessed vision.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Talk about that kind of expand on that, because you talked about it. Sarah quoted you here talking about that pruning season, but what comes out of what's the fruit that comes out after that pruning?
Well, just like Coach Philip said, I mean, and think about pruning. I've been thinking a lot about pruning, y'all, especially living on a farm. But, we have to cut back what's not effective in order for us to, just like Coach Lawrence said, in order for us to meet the next level, we got to prune back what isn't adding value. If you think about a tree that you prune, if you're pruning back the shoots, help them grow stronger and more firm, and they're more able to produce. We go through pruning seasons too. And is it painful? Absolutely, it's painful, but it's necessary for us to be able to be what we were called to be and to be the effective vessels that we were called to be. I've been reading a lot in, I try to study God's word. I've been reading a lot in Romans lately. And, think about Abraham. I mean, here Abraham was. He was 100 years old and impotent. And he was married to Sarah, who was 90 and had never been able to bear children. And God says to him, you're going to be the father of the nations.
And what did he say? He must have been like,
Right? Can you imagine? Well, as a matter of fact, even though he believed God for what he said, he and Sarah tried to orchestrate something, right?
Yeah.
And we got to be sure that we're not doing that either. When God gives you a calling and when he gives you a purpose and he calls you to do something, what we tend to do is try to orchestrate something to make it happen prematurely. We have to make sure that we take the time and we actually learn the lessons, that we actually work on ourselves and not try to do these things in a false self that we have orchestrated because we're going to help God out.
Okay, I need you to put a pin in it right there. I want you to finish, but I'll put a pin in it right there because now, we're an hour and 5 minutes into it, and now we're just getting started. So I just love this. I want to thank everybody who's joined us. We're going to go a little bit longer because I think there's a word in this for somebody. So stay with us if you can. Share this with somebody. Let somebody know what's going on in Monday Morning Jumpstart. This is designed to jumpstart your week. You know that darkness will try to come for you. The enemy will try to come for you. Negativity will try to come for you. We're not having it. Okay, we understand there is darkness in the world, but we have come to remind you that God has given you a vision. And it's not always going to be easy, but we've got some tips and tricks up our sleeve to help you make it through. Okay, you said something that I think we need to talk about, Coach Kim. Some of the people watching this, maybe you're not watching this live, maybe you're watching this on the replay. I'm gonna need you to drop this in the replay, okay? I'm gonna need you to drop this, drop a replay, #replay in the comment. And I know Coach Lawrence has to go, but I need to go back to this. And it's this, that maybe you're at a season where you're looking at stuff and it looks dark. It looks frustrating. It looks like nothing's going on. It's too quiet, whatever that is. I want you to know that that season is part of the foundation of what it is you need to be able to execute your vision. That season is not for nothing, as my friends would say, right? We use that season, every dark season, every time I was rolled up in the fetal position, crying my eyes out because I felt alone or I felt like I didn't know what to do. When I was building my business and nobody knew my name and I didn't have a trending Facebook Live show, and I didn't have some of the world's best brands in any industry and some of the world's best CEOs in my portfolio. When I didn't have any of that, I didn't think at the time that it could be used, but God used it. Because now I have a different type of conversation. It fires me up. Coach Lawrence, I know you have to go, so I'm going to need you real quickly. You've got something going on today at noon, I think. Tell us what that is and let us know where people can find you.
Yes. So thank you so much, Karen. Before I get to that, you talk about seasons. I think about farming and planting and how you have to rotate the land. And if you don't see yourself as that land, that you're in whatever season, whether it's the seeding, watering, or churning, whatever it is, you identify where you are. When you locate then again, you're able to reframe the right way and provide that level of motivation to continue going. But one of the things I do, it's all about being humble, open, and transparent is the thing that I do on lives at noon. And this is the last noon one because they're going to be moving to 11 a.m. Eastern time. Why? Because I'm Professor Henderson now. And so
congratulations.
Thank you. So Morehouse men, they will get to see me. #replay. And so those are the things that I have going on. That is all about just sharing with other coaches, other leaders, just being in position to support via life, via experiences, and just what we're doing now, being authentic in every sense of the word. And so thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much, Coach Kim, for allowing me this space this morning. You all are amazing and a blessing to me. Thank you so much.
Love you so much. We need to talk about having a whole show featuring the men of Morehouse and all you got going on there. We need to talk about that. We'll have a conversation later this week. All right. Coach Lawrence is going to drop, but for those of you that can stick on, I'm going to finish up with Coach Kim. Coach Kim, I want you to continue with that. I'm sorry, but I just had to catch what you were talking about. Because I think so often people look at those hard seasons and they forget to hold on.
Yes.
I know I have been in those seasons where, that sense of despair. And this is a sensitive topic, right? Because in the world of work, we don't talk about vulnerability. We don't talk about humility. We don't talk about feelings and feeling like giving up, because it's not sexy, right? It's not like super corporate and I'm in charge and I know what I'm doing. We don't talk about that. But we need to talk about it because it's a core part of recognizing that if you just focus on the doing, you will get to those points of despair, right? Can you just finish where you were going with that? I want to make sure that our community gets the benefit of this wisdom.
Well, I think that oftentimes we want it to happen faster than it was ever intended to be. So we try to, because we don't feel comfortable, like you said, in those still times, we feel like we have to be doing. But sometimes we are put in a place of stillness because there's something that we have to really search within ourselves about before we can do anything effective,
right?
Take another effective step, I guess,
Right.
is the best way to put it.
Right.
And so, and we can, just like I was talking about with Abraham and Sarah. I mean, Abraham, he was told that he would be the father of the nations, and here he was, over 100 years old, and Sarah's 92. They've never had children. It's like, maybe we misunderstood. Maybe there's something that we're supposed to do. So let's come up with a plan. Let's do this.
Let's fix it.
Let's fix it. Let's fix it. And what we need to be doing is we need to just take the time to make sure that we are equipped. And I'm not talking about all the things that we can do to be equipped, but what do I need to do? What do I need to do internally? What do I need to do mentally, emotionally?
Yes.
What do I need to do to make sure that I am equipped to move forward? But that's the part that's the most uncomfortable part, right? I mean, that's the part, like you said, we need to learn to be able to be vulnerable. And if you think about it, the most effective leaders that I know are the ones who make themselves vulnerable, who are authentic. But on the other side of that, it's uncomfortable, right? I mean, at some point in the life of those leaders, that was an uncomfortable place for them to be. But we've got to learn how to be comfortable in that. And why is it we're not comfortable in that? So working with someone that we trust, that we can open up to, like Coach Lawrence was saying, there was someone that he was able to just open up with, that held space for him to help him realize, why do I feel uncomfortable in these things? Because we all know that the most effective leaders have these qualities about them. The most effective leaders we know are not the people who just do and mindlessly do. They're the ones who take the time to think and feel and say. I mean, they're the ones who go deeper. Right?
I hope y'all are getting this. We look at magazine covers and we say, oh my gosh, they were an overnight success. But you don't know what they went through,
the backstory
to get there. You don't know the backstory. You don't know the times when, that person, nobody talks about when Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, the owner of all things Amazon, nobody talks a lot about having inventory in his living room. When he had, a computer and this handmade sign, and nobody knew his name and everybody was laughing at him. Nobody talks about that.
And all of that was a part of his foundation.
All of that was a part of his foundation.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the conversations I've had with Coach Kim, where I questioned myself, when I questioned my vision, but having an experienced and trained partner who could hold space for me wasn't judging me, wasn't giving me a formula,
right.
wasn't doing any of that, but could just thoughtfully help me through those transitions. One of the reasons why coaching is going gangbusters right now in the corporate world is because businesses are realizing they're so busy going fast, but they need opportunities for their leaders to slow down and to have trained, experienced partners like Coach Kim to walk them through that process. Listen.
And Karen, I think what you're saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there,
please.
but I think, what you're saying is so true. Think about it. Everything is going at such an exponential pace. And really that is sort of in a way, a blessing of 2020 in that we were forced to sort of slow down in a lot of ways, but we're going at an exponential pace. And so we don't even realize that we're not working on the vessel.
Yeah. Here's my question for those of you that are still in the feed, and maybe you're watching this on replay. Just type #replay so that we will know that you're here. Oftentimes, we will send a little goodness to our replay folks. So make sure you drop something in the comments that just says #replay. But here's my question for you. Are you rushing things? Are you rushing your vision? Have you put the doing ahead of the thinking, saying, and feeling part of your vision? Coach Lawrence said this a couple of weeks ago, and he said, when you give up on your vision, you're cheating somebody. True story. When you give up on your vision, you're cheating somebody. Who are you cheating? Yeah. Right? You're trying to give up. Now, listen, vision can get redirected, right? But it doesn't mean that you don't have it. Just because you're going through a season of testing, or as Coach Kim was talking about, a season of pruning, does not mean that your vision isn't still there. It does not mean that you don't have the ability to craft a vision. In the middle of having to administer hospital grade medications to my mother, I was her full-time caregiver. So I legally had that role, right? In the middle of that season, it felt really unreasonable at the time to have vision. But what I needed to do was I needed to shift my vision for a moment to be able to see the opportunity in front of me. And the opportunity in front of me was in the natural to care for my mother and to give her the experience of a lifetime, to be fully present in that moment, to let go of those other things that at the time were distractions. And in the moment, how can I shift this vision that it's me and mom against the world, right? I remember standing in the bathroom with her. This may be more information than y'all want. Standing in the bathroom with her, getting ready to administer one of her medicines. And I looked at her. She was this close to me. And I said, Mom, it's you and me against the world. Cancer may take us to task, but we're going to give it heck in the meantime. And she looked at me, tears streaming down her face. And she knew in that moment that it was me and her against the world. That was my vision, that my mom in that season and I would be just the two of us against the world. Don't hold so tight to your vision that you miss it. Listen, we have gone way over. Thank you to those of you who stayed long enough, because y'all know we could go in. It has been my absolute privilege to sit with Coach Kim Dudash. Coach Kim, tell us a little bit about what you do, on the regular, what it is you're called to do as an executive coach and an HR consultant, a leadership consultant, and let us know where we can find you.
Sure. So I love to work with leaders about exactly what we're talking about today, to really help them go deeper, right? To help them become the most effective, most productive leaders that they can be. And it's not in the doing, it really is in the being. And I love to work with teams. We all know very strong individual contributors. And sometimes when you get those strong people together, strong leaders together, they have a difficult time making it happen as a team. And so I love to work with teams on this very thing that I work with people individually on. So that's what I really love. And then, and as far as HR consulting, I have been in the field of human resources for over 30 years. And so I love to go in maybe with a small organization that doesn't have a strong HR presence to help them with their business, or maybe you have a strong HR presence and you just need someone to help you with certain projects. So those are the kinds of things that I love to do, that I'm passionate about doing. Just really want to help leaders be prepared for what is to come, right? To raise our level of consciousness together, because I learn just as much from my clients as I think that they learn from me. So we kind of learn together. So those are the things that I love to do. And I have a website, do-executivecoaching.com. You can find me there, reach out to me there, or I'm on social media at Coach Kim Do-. LinkedIn, same thing. So I'd love to connect with you and your organization. And Karen, I love Monday Morning Jumpstart. This gets my week started on such a good note. It helps me remember the things that are truly important. Right?
Amen. Yeah.
So
I love that. Thank you. So Coach Kim and I actually met. She was my client.
Yes.
And I know her process really well. She uses assessments and inquiry and so many different tools and approaches that really I have seen entire teams shift their perspective.
Yes.
I've seen large organizations move from being stuck to being empowered under Kim's leadership. So I cannot stress enough that this is her space.
Well, and when you're in it, you think there's no way we can shift.
That's right.
This, right.
Yeah.
But there is hope. And yes, it can shift.
There is hope.
Yeah, there is hope.
There's hope. So you guys know how we do it. I say this all the time. Listen, you have options when it comes to your vision. And I don't want you for 1 second to think that having vision is only about starting a business or, designing a label or what. That's not what it's about. We talk about leadership in this community as a lifestyle. So whether you are running, we had one of our community members in the Vision Board workshop the other day. She has 10 children. She just gave birth to her 10th child. She knows who I'm talking about. She is an amazing leader, an amazing mama. And you know what? She needs vision. She needs vision for what it is she is called to do. So I don't care who you are, what you're doing. I want you to know that this is your season to get focused, connect to your purpose, and develop perspective. We have another Vision Board workshop coming up on Friday. This coming Friday, January 29th. It is at 7:30 p.m. It is a 3-hour workshop. We only went 2 hours on Saturday's workshop, y'all. And I'm telling you, it was just too good for words. We needed more time. So I just want to invite you, get a babysitter, put the spouse on notice, do whatever you need to do, clear your calendar, grab your glass of bubbly or your tea or whatever it is, and join us for the Vision Board workshop. Do not forget that we also have the free 7-day vision challenge. Okay. This is absolutely free. You can download it. You can find it on our website at rockyourvision.net. You can find it on our Facebook page, any number of places. Jump in, get connected to your vision. It matters and you matter. Your vision is waiting on you. Coach Kim, thank you so much. Coach Lawrence, Coach Phillip, Pastor Andy, thank you all for joining us this morning. I am so excited to get this week started. And y'all know you will see my face and hear from me in the Facebook group and on YouTube. So I'll see you then. Coach Kim, hold on just 1 second. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Talk to you later.